Okay, looks like we're up and running. Oh, welcome everyone to the final round, the final stretch of season 15. This is tier 3. We still got a fight for the championship on between the BMW boys, which we can already see aren't in the top 3 in qualifying. So yeah, today we're at Interlagos, just like in the F1 this weekend. Good timing. It's also might be the track that we see next season in the returning votes, because it looks like it's just ahead of Nordschleife and Watkins Glen in the really tight vote for the returning track between everybody. Yeah, we're in off season now because this race obviously happened a few days ago. So yeah, we're just getting prepared for the new season. But let's see how everyone has lined up for the race today. So in last place we got Pagel. Pagel's took a couple of weeks off. I think he's not been too well, and not started his return. Excuse me, very well. He is lining up last in the Mazda. Been a tricky car for a lot of people this season. Then we got Jezza in the Lambo lining up in P13. So yeah, won't be too happy with that qualifying. Neither will Pyro, all the way down in 12th in qualifying. That's pretty low for what we're expected to see Pyro doing in this tier. Then we got Mighty Mini Smiley, or Harry, as he's called, on the right. He's in the Nissan GTR, just outside the top 10. Prime Call, another one we're used to seeing a bit higher up. The McLaren doesn't do that well around here compared to some other tracks, and maybe that's why he's only 10th. Then we got Ethan in the Jag in the top 10. Pulled out a good performance there in qualifying. Kanata, who's P2 in the standings, he is only 8th in qualifying, right next to his teammate Peachy. They are rocking a new livery again this week, a bit more colourful than we're used to seeing. Then we got Senor Fak. He is in 6th place in the Renault, again right next to his teammate Rotikos up in 5th. Solid season by these boys. Both of them have won races, so something to watch out for. Also, race winners Deco in the Toyota in another new livery, the Brazilian livery for the Brazilian round, and Spin in the other Nissan. His teammate Harry down outside the top 10. He's managed to get up to well, it says third. He's actually second because we've got a bit of a glitch. Astro gets his first pole position in ALR in the Peugeot RCZ. So very, very good performance from him. And then it says Anonymous first, but he's not. He's all the way back here. Actually, he is he's last. So Pagel blushes were spared. He didn't actually qualify last on the grid. It actually belongs to Anonymous lining up in P14. But yeah, let's get this sprint race going. We've got 10 laps in this sprint race around a very awesome Brazil track. All 5 lights are on and they're off, and it looks like an absolutely fantastic start from Eroticos. From 4th place, he's going for P1. It looks like he's got ahead of Spin, and now he's side by side with Astro, and he's ahead of Astro. Astro actually losing a spot to Spin. Eroticos goes very deep into turn 1, keeps the position just ahead of Spin as we head out of turn 3. Looks like there was a little bit of action a bit further back, which you might go and see, but Eroticos now defending the inside here. It looks like Spin might have a run on him into turn 4. One of the best overtaking spots on the track. Eroticos very late on the brakes, and everyone seems to be negotiating that corner just fine. Senor Fak a little bit late on the brakes. Astro dropping all the way down to 4th with Peachy, our championship leader, just behind him. And it looks like Peachy's going for it. No, he backed out in the last minute, so it's as you were between the top 5. Eroticos in P1 as it stands in that Renault with his teammate in 3rd, so a great start once again from the Renault team. We know that Renault is really quick off the start, and he's starting to put a bit of breathing space between himself and Spin. Senor Fak getting very close to Spin in this tight braking zone. Now we head to the final braking zone of the track, probably the most important one to get a good exit from, because we are full throttle all the way up the hill and then down the hill a little bit into turn 1. And yeah, Senor Fak nice in the slipstream of Spin. Both of them staying pretty tight as we finish the first lap. It is pretty standard in the top 5 at the moment. Harry in 6th, Prime Calls works his way up to 7th. Then we've got Anonymous, Kanata down to 9th, Jezza 10th, And then, yeah, we got Pyro down in 14th. So let's go all the way back to the start and see what happened, because he was probably right in the mix of everything if he's dropped all the way to the back. Looks like a great start there for Prime Call ahead, and yeah, Kanata just got really bogged down at the start. Pyro's pretty much where he started. Really slow entry into turn 1 from Kanata. Looks like Deco's off the track as well. And then Pyro's actually worked his way up to 10th at the moment, and there is what happened. Oh no, just lost it in between 1 and 2 in the center S. So let's go back and see what happened to Deco as well. So remember, he was starting in P3, sorry, with the glitch there. So absolutely great qualifying for him, but he's dropped all the way to the back. The Toyota doesn't get good starts, so he gets swallowed up a little bit here. He's stuck on the outside as well. He just outbrakes himself. Unforced error there for Deco. Now he's got to wait for everyone to go through so that he can rejoin safely. So that was the beginning of lap 1. We're now on lap 2. We've got Kanata challenging Anonymous here, so a great start from Anonymous from 16th to 8th in the FT1. And yeah, nothing Kanata can do coming out of turn 5. So it looks like a little gap has started to appear between Anonymous and Prime Call. Anonymous looking a little bit more in his rear view mirrors, and a big queue starting to fall behind him. But these are for the very minor points, and just as a reminder for the championship, Kanata needs basically to win this race, so he's got to get past Anonymous very quickly. His teammate is currently beating him, and as it stands, Peachy would be champion even before race 2. A little bit further up, it's pretty much as you were at the front as well as we start going up the hill. Senor Fac's going to be in spin slipstream, but he's not going to be able to get close enough for an overtake. Astro's actually caught up to the top 3 pretty well here, and he's dragging Peachy along with him, and Harry's actually catching up to this group as well. So everyone's showing some pretty good pace at the moment. The fastest lap currently with Eroticos with 31.7. Some of these guys were in the 30s in qualifying, so plenty more time to be found potentially before the tyres start going off. And someone is off the track. It's Spin. What's happened with Spin? Entry into turn 1. Manages to take turn 1 alright, not too fast. And then, similar to what Pyro did, just completely losing it. And yeah, another unforced error. That means that it is currently... Oh, Harry goes very wide. Let's see if this turns into a penalty. It is very unforgiving on that part of the track, and he gets a 3-second penalty, so that's going to drop him right back. Spin is slot into 6th. Then we got Peachy, who's really benefited from all that. He's up in 4th. Astro is now 3rd. He's got 2 Renaults. We've got a French podium at the moment. 2 Renaults and a Peugeot on the podium spots. Now, Senor Fac, there's quite a big gap between him and his teammate, and he's got a lot of pressure now from Astro. So yeah, this might be a bit difficult. Remember, Astro did have pole position as well, so technically the quickest driver on the track, but he's got a Renault in his way. He's got better straight line speed, so he is close enough to get a move done into turn 1 if he can get a good exit from this corner here. It looks like he's incredibly close to Fac at the moment. And here we go. When is he gonna pull out and try and move? Fac already going wide around these corners, and that allows Astro to get alongside already, and we've got a very long drag race down to turn 1 now between the 2 drivers. Senor Fac is not going to be getting slipstream from his teammate, and Astro's already ahead heading into turn 1. And there we go, done and dusted for Astro. This has been a very good recovery after losing a bunch of positions at the start of the race. Eroticos with quite a comfortable lead, lapping in the 31s and 32s, but Astro's lap that time, slipstream assisted obviously, but he was also stuck behind Senor Fac. 31.2, that is the quickest lap of the race so far. Might be a difficult one to beat now. Senor Fac's doing fairly well at the moment to stay pretty close to Astro, but we're entering the meaty part of the track where you gain and lose all your time with the amount of corners that come thick and fast in the middle sector of this track. Astro's feeling a bit more comfortable than Fac around some of these corners, and I think that's because The Peugeot's still a very good car, probably one of the more underrated ones in ALR. Not many people pick it lately. It used to be quite a popular one. But yeah, obviously it's an MR car, and all the MR cars seem to be loving the regulations since the most recent physics update. A lot of them are propelled into the podium positions, including the Renault on this track, including the Lambo, where we've got Jezza down in P8 in the Lambo. This is a very good track for that car. Ferrari quite good, but still a bit too high on tyre wear. Another fastest lap for Astro. So that is a 31.253. So only 1/200th quicker or something like that. I don't know. Than the previous lap. Anyway, point is, he's doing well. He's catching Eroticos. Eroticos was 3/10 slower than him on that last lap. So Eroticos still showing really good pace. Astro going quicker again than his previous lap. So the fight for P1 is very much on at the moment. Let's just have a quick look down and see where everyone else is. Kanatas works his way up into P5 now. He's just one position behind his teammate. He has to absolutely beat his teammate by quite a few positions in the sprint race. And then we got Deco's recovered up to 7th already, so he's done quite well. Then everyone's pretty close together in this fight. We got Prime Call down to 10th place, reverse grid pole, just challenging Jezza for P9 at the moment. And it looks like they're still side by side heading into the next corner. Primecore's going to stick it around the outside and claim that position. Good little overtake there. And then we've got Harry, who's fallen down to 11th after he's had that 3-second penalty. He's now getting challenged by Anonyma, and he keeps the position for now. So good bit of defending there. Then we've got the two Mazdas tailed off at the back, unfortunately. So Pagel's been in the wars as well. Meanwhile, the fight for P1, it's hotting up. We've got Astro. Let's see if he's gonna break his previous fastest lap, because he seems to be on fire at the moment. No, 2/10 slower, so that's a 31.4. Still a 10th quicker than Eroticos, but he needs to be doing a little bit better than a 10th of a lap in order to catch him before the end of the race. We're on lap 6 of 10 now, so we are over the halfway point. Eroticos going very wide, taking all the curb on the exit there. And yeah, really solid opening sector there from Eroticos. You wouldn't expect the Renault to be so good, because there is quite a long straight at the end and at the start of that sector. But yeah, maybe the Senna S in between those two straights is what is gaining loads of time for Eroticos there. He is a race winner already this season. Eroticos' first wins in ALR came this season. Astro has yet to win a race. They've both been in ALR around the same length of time, but had slightly different trajectories. Eroticos got demoted from Tier 2 last season, seems to be doing really well in Tier 3, and Astro actually started in Tier 1, then moved down to 2 and then 3 mid-season, and has found his feet in this Peugeot pretty well. Definitely dropping Senor Fak now on this lap as well. But yeah, we rounded the final corner again. Eroticos is going to try and better his previous lap, which was actually his best lap of the race so far. That was a 31.5. If he can stay in the mid-31s, he'll be laughing. He's a 31.3, so again his fastest lap, and Astro did a 31.2, so again another 10th quicker. Not enough at the moment. Senor Fak a 31.9, still showing good pace, but that is nowhere near what the top two are doing right now. Deco slowly reeling in spin by the looks of things. Yeah, Deco's done pretty well to work his way back into the top 10 so quickly. Maybe any more progress might be difficult, because these guys who are in the top positions here are all very fast this season, it's got to be said. But yeah, nothing much happening at the moment. Astro seems to be closing the gap again on Eroticos. Oh, that looked very deep though from Astro, so that's going to give Eroticos a couple of tenths back at least. Hey, he's still on for one of his fastest laps though. been a while since Eroticos has shown race-winning pace in Tier 3. He definitely has it. He started the season off very strongly, and then, yeah, couldn't compete with the M6s, but this is not a track that favours the M6 as much as other ones, and that's probably why we're seeing them only in 4th and 5th. So, that last lap for Eroticos was 0.3 slower, 31.6, compared with 31.2 for Astro, and it's Kanata who actually took the fastest lap with 31 flat, so he's the quickest man on the track right now. So that's another 0.4. We're cutting it very fine here. If Eroticos can continue driving the way that he's driving, he should be okay, but we have to wait and see what happens. Astro's starting to lurk in his rear view mirrors, and he's probably looking at his mirrors a little bit concerned. It looked like Senor Fax coming up under a little bit of pressure now from Peachy and Kanata as well. So let's ride on board with our soon-to-be champion if he finishes here in 4th place. He has 3rd place on his sights though. We know that M6 has the speed advantage in a straight line, so if he can get nice and close before the final corner, it looks like he lost a little bit of time there instead. So yeah, potentially not this lap. It looks like Astro's a lot closer to Eroticos a little bit further up, so let's ride on board with Astro. He seems to be in slipstream range now, so this is going to be a very spicy last couple of laps for the lead, the last sprint race of the season. .31.1, so very, very, very strong lap time there from Astro compared with 31.7. He took 0.6 out of Eroticos there, and yeah, a much better turn 1 and 2 Senna S section for Astro, and the move might be on. I mean, Eroticos is feeling like it's on. He's already gone defensive very early on the straight. Astro's going to just stick it around the outside very late on the brakes. Eroticos has to give him the space, and Astro's going to do it around the outside. He's still side by side, but he's got the better engine, and he's just starting to pull away from Eroticos now, and that is a fantastic overtake. He basically caught Eroticos with his pants down. It takes a very good lead of the race, so our pole sitter back on top goes a little bit wide into this corner, might open the door for Eroticos. He has to keep it tight in the next one, and he should be fine for now. Both of them going very wide on the exit, pushing very hard, both of them quite clearly. Again, a little bit deep there from Astro. Eroticos might have a chance on the straight of getting this back. On lap 9, we've only got 1 lap to go now. And this, I think, is a little bit too far away for the Renault to be able to do anything. Struggles on its engine. We all know this. Obviously a very good car. Still 2 of them in the podium positions. So we head into the final lap. Astro is leading now. Senor Fac has Peachy fairly close behind. This is still going to be a super strong result for Renault, but they were 1-2 at one point, and now they are 2-3, potentially 2-4 if Peachy gets his way. Peachy a little bit wide on the exit of turn 3 there. Yeah, he's not going to get close enough at this point. I feel like if Eroticos had just not defended the inside, he might have kept that position, because Astro might not have been able to go for it. But yeah, you can see there's a gap now in front between Eroticos and Astro. Astro seems very comfortable on this final lap. They've got very similar tyres, maybe Astro 1 or 2% better. Senor Fax tyres very similar to Eroticos's as well. Excuse me. Peachy's lost a bit of time now. He's actually got... Oh... Just to compound the misery for Kanata, he's going to be serving a 1-second penalty at the penalty line on his final lap. He's going to drop like a stone here. We've got Spin not too far behind. Deco and Ethan potentially not too far behind either, but let's ride on board with Astro. He's going to take his first win in ALR. Fantastic recovery drive after a very bad start off the line. He's going to take victory ahead of Eroticos, a great P2 and P3 for the Renault boys. Peachy is your champion in P4. Spin takes P5 from Kanata. Kanata holds on to P6 just ahead of Deco and Ethan. Prime Call 9th, and our P10, which is reverse grid pole, is Jezza. Anonyma dropped back at the end. Pyro had his issues at the start. Harry had a 3-second penalty he couldn't recover from. And Pagel is a long way behind. Tier 6 pace on display tonight. Come on. We got another one to watch, man. There we go. Finishing with a 134, which is 4 seconds better than his previous lap. Okay, let's find this feature race. There it is. So the championship is officially over on both sides. BMW are the constructors and Peachy is the drivers' champion. Peachy and Kanata will be racing in the Race of Champions next week, as well as Prime Call. And me, so that we'll see how much they all beat me by. We're racing at Grand Valley, and I don't know it at all. I've done a little bit of practice on it, but I don't even know if my lap times are good or not. And we're racing at 5 times tire life, so it's going to be really difficult because we've got to put softs on it in that as well, so they'll last about 2 laps. Anyway, that'll be good. Gunmad is going to be commentating that one on Monday. Let's just pause this. Let's have a quick look at the tyres before we get started. Expecting everyone to be on the mediums. Medium seems pretty standard for this feature race, but it looks like that will be a thing of the past next season because the vote that's open right now for whether we should make compound change mandatory in feature races is overwhelmingly winning. So we'll see some maybe like 3 stops, like a medium soft or a medium soft strategy at some tracks, medium hard, just a few other ones. I don't know. Some people might try medium soft at places, but that is going to backfire massively, I reckon. Javi disagrees. He's been saying on Discord that he thinks that a lot of people will try medium soft at some of the tracks. But yeah, we get punctures now, so I don't think it's a great idea. Anyway, back to this race. We've got the feature up and running. We've got Jezza in P1 in the Lambo. The Lambo is the meta car around Brazil, so we've got a great opportunity for a result here if he can fend off the cars behind. Looks like a pretty solid start by everyone. No one, well, it looks like Prime Call's defending a little bit from Ethan into turn 1. And yeah, he keeps the position for now. Ethan looks like he's challenging. Let's ride on board with Deco. Deco in the GR Supra should be pretty good round here as well, especially up the hill. And he did a great recovery. So Ethan might try it on the brakes. And they both brake nice and early for that corner. Prime Call and Ethan, everyone negotiates it pretty well. Jez is still a solid P1. Deco really closing in on Ethan around the exit of that previous corner. And it's as you were for now. But Deco really looks like he's fancying a go. He needs to get past these cars early on if he feels like he's got the pace on them. Well, everyone's really bunched together on this opening lap. I don't think we've seen many overtakes. Looks like Erotico's got past Senor Fac. Astro's still stuck in 10th. Anonymous going for it on Astro though. Really late on the brakes, and they're still side by side. Looks like Anonymous going to keep the position. It's a nice little try from Anonyma, but Astro wins out that time. Now we're heading up the hill for the first time. Let's join Deco because we know he's got a quick car. He's quite a way away from Ethan. I think there's big enough gaps here that he doesn't really have to worry. The McLaren and the Lambo in P1 and 2 don't have the best top speed. Ethan's actually closing in on Prime Call a little bit. So if he gets this corner right, oh, Jezza very wide into turn 1. That's going to make Prime Call go a bit slow through there as well. And yeah, Prime Call now sniffing a move for P1 all of a sudden. Jezza looks like he's placed this car in the middle of the track, thinking about going defensive here. Prime Call looks like he's having a look into turn 4. He's gone for it, and he's backed out at the last moment. Now Ethan going really wide round. Jezza takes a really wide exit as well. Now Deco's got past Ethan, and Prime Call has taken the lead of the race. So let's rewind that and watch from Prime Call's point of view, because that was very impressive. So riding on board with him, he does back out right last minute here. But Jezza's problem is he doesn't get on the throttle very quickly. Prime Call gets on it much earlier, and that's why he managed to swoop past. And it was basically an identical thing for Deco and Jezza. Now Deco is challenging Jezza into the next corner. Gets away with it. Now, oh, Prime Call and Jezza both thought, well, identically there. They both take the corner very slowly. Deco lurking now, fancying a go. Looks like there's some changes for position as well. Ethan's lost more positions. So let's see what's happening with Ethan, because he's going to lose a position to Kanata here. Kanata just got such a good run out of turn 4 and takes that position. Now he's going to be in trouble because Spin's right here now as well. Ethan and Spin side by side. Spin's trying to do it the long way round. And he's got the inside line for the next corner. If he could brake late enough. Ethan's trying to stick it, and he can't do it. Actually, he has done it. He's kept the position again. This is fantastic stuff from Ethan to keep that position. Great driving from both of them, to be honest. And Spin's going to chuck it in. Oh, a little bit of contact. That's actually probably put Spin out of range for now. But he's going to slip into the slipstream. The Jag has fairly decent top speed. It should be okay if Ethan defends the inside. Let's see if he keeps left or not. He isn't really keeping left. Oh, he's changed his mind. Spin's going to go even tighter though into turn 1. And yeah, he makes it, and Ethan's got tuck up behind him. Meanwhile, Kanata's fancying a move on Jezza. Jezza lost a position to Deco into turn 1, and now he's struggling against Kanata. Kanata trying to end the season on a high after what happened in race 1. Jezza wide again, not taking that corner well for 2 laps in a row. Now Kanata's going to have a chance of getting the overtake done if Jezza gives him the room. And yeah, Kanata just couldn't do anything, but Jezza goes very wide and gets a better exit as well, so he keeps the position again for now. Deco meanwhile starting to catch up to Prime Call pretty handily, so a really good start for both of these boys. Deco potentially have a little bit more pace at the moment in that Supra. On for a fastest lap, but that's not saying much at the moment, considering the fastest laps are 32.8. So this might be a great chance for Deco. He's got the engine in him, he's got the slipstream, and the straight is long enough for him to even, you can even do a bit, it's not even a dive bomb, it's moving under, it's overtaking in the braking zone, because there's a long straight line braking zone here before people have to turn. Prime Call's made an unforced error there, and Deco takes the position. That was yeah, just far too deep, probably looking in his mirrors a little bit too much. And now Jezza might be fancying a move back on Prime Call. Prime Call all out of sorts here on lap 4. But Prime Call is beating Deco in the championship, so you're not expecting Deco to get an easy overtake done on this guy. Jezza took that corner much better than in previous laps. He's managed to pull himself up alongside Prime Call. We've got Kanata lurking just behind. Prime Call's got the inside line, and he's going to keep it. Jezza going wide. Kanata nearly thought about sticking a nose in and just wasn't able to, and it's as you were again for now. Spin, Ethan, Peachy, and the Renault there, all very close behind as well. So there's a huge queue forming in the race for P2 essentially. Looks like Deco's already starting to get away from Prime Call. end lap 4. Looks like a fairly decent exit there from Jezza, but Kanata's still fairly close. The M6 could have a little run on the Lamborghini. Got a bit of a gap to spin, so he's not going to be causing any trouble into turn 1. Now he can definitely go for it if he's brave. He's thinking about it. It was kind of like a half move. Makes a bit of awkward contact with Jezza. They both survive. This is great for Spin if he gets a good exit here. He's going to go on a move for Kanata. Absolutely caught Kanata with his pads down. After that, yeah, punishment for that half move that just didn't pay off. It looks like Ethan is going to challenge Kanata into this next corner as well. And quite a straightforward overtake there for Ethan. Pretty good start to the feature race for him. Kanata's going to try the switchback, and he does get alongside, but he's going to have to go the long way round. And he's going to get it. Ethan's still there. He's got the inside line. Kanata's gone the long way around, and he's still kept it. Jezza really holding up Spin, just a position further forward. So let's go and join this little battle, see what's going on. Look at that. Look at that queue of cars behind Jezza. Couldn't see any Mazda in there though, so looks like the feature race hasn't started too well for the Mazda boys either. So the question for Spin is this close enough? Jezza's not really going to be benefiting much from Slipstream from Prime Call. Spin should start to feel the benefits quite strongly now. He is starting to reel Jezza in. If he's brave into turn 1, he could do it. He is brave. Jezza brakes incredibly early and Spin brakes incredibly late. Completely overshot turn 1 and has cut turn 2. He's lost a position to Kanata and to Ethan. And now he's got a Rotikos for company. And Peachy down in 9th. So this can happen. It happened to me when I won my title in the sprint race. I just wasn't as good in the feature. I wasn't trying very hard. You know, like you're just a bit too relaxed after that. And I ended up spinning. Spin, meanwhile, speaking of spinning, loses the position to Astro by going too deep once again. This time is minimal time loss. Astro, remember, is our race 1 winner, so he's only worked his way up to 7th so far. Bit shaky there from Kanata. So Jezza's done pretty well here. He's fended off a couple of challengers, and yeah, basically everyone who's tried to get past him, apart from the top 2, have come a cropper essentially. I think he's got enough beans in him this time. Let's see how Prime Call's doing compared to Deco. Deco's just set at 32.9 compared to a 32.3 for Prime Call. So Prime Call is starting to recover a bit. Deco wide into turn 1. It's going to help Prime Call close the gap again. So potentially this is a fight to keep watching out for. The battle for P1 isn't over by a long stretch. A little bit further back, looks like a Rotikos struggling a little bit. Astro fancying another position. These two were fighting for the win in the sprint race. Fighting for P6 right now. Rotikos going defensive again, very similar to what we saw in race 1. Rotikos was slightly higher ahead. Again, don't think he needed to defend the inside quite so ferociously. Well positioned for this next corner, Rotikos, even though Astro has a little bit of his car alongside, trying a bit of a switchback, but Rotikos' car was in the way and he's going to survive for now. Rotikos going very defensive again. So he's keeping position, but they are losing ground on the leaders. Fortunately for them, the 3 ahead aren't going that quickly, so they're not going to scarper off into the distance quite the same. Yeah, but it is quickly becoming a 2-horse race for this win now. This is... yeah, great exit there from Astro. This is his chance. He's very close. You can see Ethan's very close too. I think Kanata as well. So we might see 2 overtakes for the price of 1. Rotiko's going very defensive again. Astro deciding he's not going to try the overtake here. That's why he just got out of his slipstream. Rotiko's a little bit too much speed into turn 1, out of shapes around turn 2, and this is another great chance for Astro. He actually ends up bump drafting Rotiko's a little bit out of turn 3. Rotiko's still just about ahead. And yeah, Astro doesn't send it, and it's as you were, just as it is in front as well. Ethan's not been able to get past Kanata. Kanata not been able to pass Jezza. Oh, I don't know what's happened there with Astro. He forgot to upshift, I think. And now he's under a lot of pressure from Peachy, and he's being shoved out the way. You hate to see it. And yeah, Peachy lets him back through. Let's join on board with Peachy a little bit further forward. So we're going to see Astro just not upshift. I don't know if this is just a mistake or if he had some sort of issue. Now Peachy's all of a sudden got this great opportunity. He's deciding he's going for it. The door gets kind of shut on him, and then they both get bumped by Spin. Spin goes through. Peachy's like, sorry about that. Here you go. Oh, Astro then hits Spin, and now Harry. Oh dear. It's all kicking off. Everyone's going so slow around this section that they're all coming together. So, good couple of corners for the Nissan boys. Oh, Astro's going for it. Astro's going for it on Spin. Astro's got the position back. And now look how much time he's lost to Rotiko. He's 4 seconds off his ultimate lap time. And yeah, that must be the gap between him and Rotiko's. Meanwhile, Harry is in 8th. I think Spin has had a big issue that we've just missed there. So he got overtaken from Astro. Bit of argy-bargy. He gets a bit of a bump draft there from Harry. Then he breaks for the corner, and yeah, he gets it all wrong. Don't know what he was thinking when he was deciding to turn in at that angle, but he's all the way at the back, even behind the two Mazda boys. The Mazdas are like the Aston Martins today, just randomly incredibly slow. Anyway, Deco in P1, lapping in the 33s now. Primecall's still in the 32s, so he's 2/10 quicker at the moment. Still reeling in the Supra. The Supra seems to have a little bit more tyre wear as well, so that is beneficial to Primecall. Jezza 33 flat as well, exactly the same as Deco. He's still got a little bit of pressure from behind, but he's driving fairly solid and consistent laps. His last 3 have all been fairly close together on lap time, and that's why these top 3. Oh, Kanata's looking very hungry though at the moment. Yeah, he's just hitting the corners a little bit better than Jezza is. Yeah, not much Kanata can do around this section. We are on lap 9 of 26, by the way, so it's like 40-minute feature race. These guys are all going to have to come into the pits at some point. I'm predicting lap 13 or lap 12 for people who are feeling like an undercut, which will be very powerful in terms of getting a position, but will come back to haunt them for the rest of the race because they will have more worn tyres than everyone around them. So it's a very calculated risk you have to take if you decide to go for an undercut. Everyone's still fairly close together. Rotiko's... Oh, let's see what Astro's done. He did a 36.9 the previous lap. This lap in clear air. Are we going to see a fastest lap? We don't. It's 32.7. So, quicker than the leaders are lapping at the moment, and he's going to need to do that for the rest of the race, essentially, if he's going to get himself back in the hunt. Let's see what's happening here. Everyone's bunched up super close. Ethan's having his best feature race of the season, P5. He did get a couple of podiums in Tier 2 last season, and he is a Tier champion as well. I think it was Tier 5 that he won. In quite convincing style. Potentially it was Tier 4, can't remember off the top of my head. Jezza, of course, is the reigning Tier 4 champion, or he was until the end of this race anyway. He's given up that crown to... Who won the Tier 4 title? I can't remember. That's weird. Oh, it was Swavey. Swavey won it. No, it wasn't. It was Otto Ration. Otto won it. How could I forget? It's because they're not tier 4 pace. That clearly aren't tier 4 pace drivers, so I didn't even think of them as tier 4 drivers. That's another thing. A lot of people will be thinking about next season now and what tier they could potentially be in. Looks like we're going to keep 6 tiers. We had a lot of people join who were tier 5 and 6 pace during the season, who kind of just spent the whole season as reserves and struggled to get races because those tiers were overloaded with people. Looks like Kanata's got a great chance of taking Jezza. Let's see if he could do it. This is his best opportunity so far. He's later on the brakes. He's gonna hit the apex, and Jezza holds it really well around the outside, gets a better exit. He's gonna survive again. This is great defending all race long by Jezza. Really in his stride here. Oh, is everyone all right? Yeah, I heard some tires screeching, but yeah, Jezza under massive pressure. Previous lap was in 34s because they've started battling. Eroticos has caught up to this battle as well, so he could be one to think about getting a jump on these other guys in the pits. Ethan very wide there. But yeah, as they're rounded last week on us, I'll just finish what I was saying. A lot of people have joined who are tier 5 and 6 pace and have kind of struggled to get a race in. Obviously, they will be full-time next season, so it's going to push a lot of people up a tier. Some people potentially 2 tiers because they've improved so much over the season. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see a lot of drivers race different drivers for the first time. Kanata's gone for it. You just saw it in front. He absolutely sent it into turn 1, and he managed to avoid his car spinning there. It was almost sideways. Jezza has got a better exit out of turn 3. He's got a chance of getting the overtake done again into turn 4. Remember, he's been defending so good. Let's see what his attacking is like here. He could have gone for it. The door was left open, but he just tucks in behind and keeps P4 for now. So he's outside the podium positions, but he's still doing pretty well considering we're nearly at the halfway point. Ethan in 5th and Eroticos in 6th, really fancying a move now. Think about the inside, and he's gone for it. Ethan's still there, and Ethan's just got a much better exit. Eroticos lost a lot of grip, but he's still in the hunt. It's not over yet. Hasn't fully sent it, but actually took the corner really well and managed to get a decent exit. Ethan actually loses traction, loses the position as a result as well. So great few corners there for Eroticos, make good progress up the field, unlike the other people that finished on the podium in the sprint. Jezza's got a chance of retaking Kanata here. He's fully within the slipstream. Instead, he's going into the pits as Deco and Primecall both went into the pits. Interesting strategy, because usually when you're at the front, you stay out a little bit longer. Kanata takes the lead of the race then, ahead of Eroticos, Ethan, Astro, and Harry in the top 5. Then we got Deco, Primecall, Jezza, Senor Fak, and Anonyma are the ones in the pits. So I wonder if any of these are going to be putting on hard tyres. Primecall has a lot of fuel, as does Senor Fak. Jezza had the least amount of fuel. Okay. See how much everyone puts in. Deco was the leader, remember. He's put in 83. Primecall only 76. As Primecall got the jump on Deco because he's put in 75% of his fuel here. That is a very low amount of fuel, but we do know that the McLaren is good on fuel. He is out ahead of Deco. He's got maybe a second or two on Deco right now. There goes Deco out of the pits. Absolute disaster, but he's put in so much more fuel that he can fully push for the rest of the race in that Supra. Rev it out. Although I heard that revving it out isn't actually the optimal way to drive it. Senor Fak down in 12th, just ahead of Anonyma. So those two will be looking for a big undercut to get a few overtakes done. Meanwhile, we've got Kanata solidly in P1. Not coming under any pressure at the moment from Eroticos. Let's see, this should be the lap that they both come into the pits. Yeah, in they come. Yep, Eroticos is in. Everyone is filing in now. In comes Peachy. Pyro a few seconds behind Peachy there. Then we got Spin, who's had some issues. He is coming in. His tyres very obliterated. Then Prime Call is our next driver, the one that made his pit stop. So let's see. It looks like Astro and Pyro are really struggling for fuel there. Erotico's really good on his fuel. We know the Renault is fantastic on fuel efficiency because it has 7 gears essentially. That's the reason. So Prime Call set a 49.2. That was compared to a 51.2. So he gained 2 seconds in the pits and the outlap essentially on Deco, and Deco did so well to overtake him. Was starting to get reeled in a little bit by Prime Call at the end of that stint, and now Prime Call has the position again, so Deco's got a lot of hard work to do here. Erotico's coming out in, it looks like P3 ahead of Kanata, and both of them ahead of Jezza. Jezza trying to move on Kanata into turn 4, backs out of it, and it was a good attempt by Jezza. He couldn't get all the way back up to where he was though. Then we've got a bit of chaos going on down here, so let's see what is happening. Let's join on board with Astro. So we've got Harry, and then we got Peachy and Senor Fak, it looks like, battling for position. So that was a great undercut from Senor Fak. He gets pushed off a little bit there, and there's more battling between Anonyma and Ethan, side by side here as well. For P10, Ethan's not done well in this hit sequence at all. He's potentially putting far too much fuel, that's why. Lost loads of positions. Remember, he was up in 5th place, now he's down in 11th. Oh, there's all sorts going on here. Right, what happened? Let's go back up to Harry. Harry and Astro are getting a little bit argy-bargy as we head into this really tight section. Oh, Astro just... oh dear. And he did right his wrong. Got him facing the right way again. Oh, Harry's just bumped him off. Oh no, what was that? You hate to see it. Not great. But yeah, that is good news for Senor Fak. And who was that actually that ended up falling down? It was Astro. So Astro's down to 11th. Everyone else is bunched together so tightly now because of all that. Peachy's might be fancying a move on Harry. Senor Fak managing to get away. So he fell back at the start of the feature. Now he's found himself in 6th place. He did an undercut, so he's going to have to manage his tyres. But yeah, it's looking pretty good for a top result for him. Jezza, Kanata, Erotico's really going for it into turn 1. And Kanata is trying to go the long way around Eroticos. If he can pull this off, that'd be fantastic. They are side by side here, heading into turn 4. And Kanata's just got the overspeed massively. Eroticos is thinking about a move. The door was left open once again, and Kanata keeps hold of P3. Meanwhile, what's happening in the battle for P1? Deco looks like he's a bit closer to Prime Call now. So I think on the fresher tyres, the GR Super is better, but it does burn through the tyres quicker, and that allows Prime Call to get the advantage at the end of the stint. So Deco's really got to take advantage of having the pace at the start of the stint while he can. I think the last 5 laps he might start struggling again. Right, up the hill, let's see what he can do. He's going to be too far away this time. He's currently got the fastest lap, that was the previous laps. That's a 32.2, so we're still not in the 31s yet, but no one is on the softs. But I think a high 31 is possible for this tier. It's going to be 32.9 for Deco, so not a great lap there. Not a great lap either for Prime Call, 32.7. Excuse me. Erotico's 33.6. And he's got Jezza in front of him. Oh, actually, he's battling with Kanata. Hold on, hold on. Oh, it's an anime livery. Right. Anyway, round the outside, into turn 1. Goes Kanata. Erotico's really good on the defense. excuse me, into turn 1. Coming out of turn 3, Kanata's going to have the advantage in terms of speed, and he takes a tighter exit, which does give you a better slingshot. He's going to go for the inside line as well. Erotico's left the door open. And into turn 4, they are side by side. Erotico's trying to hang it around the outside. It looks like he's actually got the position. Great bit of defensive driving there from Eroticos. Keeps P3 for now. Jez is still in the hunt as well. Yeah, nothing Kanata can do in this infield section. This is where the Renault is very, very strong. Here we go, a bit wide through that corner for Eroticos. Kept Kanata very close to him. Let's ride on board with Kanata. And here we go, he's got a good chance of reeling him in the slipstream now. He's nice and close, the gap is under half a second. Again, once we head past this pit line, that is when the slipstream should really start kicking in. Erotico's going defensive all the way. Kanata deciding to go on the outside, not going for a move into turn 1. Very late on the brakes compared to Eroticos. Eroticos goes slightly deep, misses the apex. And yeah, he's going to be a little bit out of shape through 3 and 4, but I think Kanata may have left him a little bit too much breathing space there. Eroticos thinking about going defensive. He doesn't really need to. He needs to start focusing on just taking his lines, to be honest. He's not going to get a chance to. He's going to have to go defensive again. He's got the inside line for the next corner. Kanata maybe just trying to put Eroticos out of position here, trying to goad a mistake out of Eroticos, but Eroticos really defending well, hitting his apexes, not giving Kanata much of a look in, even when he is able to get alongside. Now got just 8 laps to go after this one. Jez are doing very well to hang on to the back of this battle as well. It's going to be a good end to the season in the Lambo for Jezza. And yeah, Kanata's just lost a little bit extra time there. He's not going to be troubling the lead for now, but let's have a look at the actual race lead. Deco on a charge at the moment, lapping in the 32s still, as the tyres start to wear. 32.5 for Prime Call, still a bit quicker than Deco at the moment, but yeah, the gap still is really, really narrow, it's got to be said. Eroticos with a big gap ahead of him, not a very big gap to the 2 cars behind. Let's see what's going on a little bit further down. It's like Senor Fak and Harry having a light, right old battle into turn 1. Let's see, it's like Harry got the overtake done actually. This is the fastest lap of the race that he's about to set. 31.4, fantastic. Really on a charge on those medium tyres. Oh, bit of contact. And yeah, I think Fak just lets Harry go past there because of, yeah, he overshot turn 1 slightly. Oh, what's happened to spin? You thought we were going to miss it. We didn't miss it. He's gone very defensive against Astro. And then, yeah, we've seen it a few times. And he, yeah, drops behind Pyro as well. So Astro, our race 1 winner, having a torrid time in race 2. Pagel has disconnected as well. We've got Deco really close to Prime Call now, so let's stick with these guys. Both rocking a Brazilian themed livery by the looks of things. They've basically been in a world of their own the whole race. Jezza getting, well, defending so well, has been holding back the pack, but then Jezza's been overtaken and he's still with the pack, so some really good racing going on up and down the field. Now we've got a chance for a change of lead of the race. Deco's already had to do it once in this race, lost the lead in the pits, with Prime Call putting in so much less fuel. And now Deco's going to have to do it around the outside into turn 1. Are they going to be able to go side by side into turn 1? We're in the braking zone now. Looks like they hit the apex beautifully. A Deco around the outside into turn 2 has got the position. Prime Call's still there. Still going to try and get a bit of slipstream off of Deco. Deco going ultra defensive into the run down to turn 4. He might have done it again, you know. Prime Call still there. Deco having to take a tight entry will compromise his run up the hill here. But I think he might have done enough now. That is great overtake for the lead on the final race of the season. He's had to do it twice now on Prime Call, and he's executed it both times. First time of asking as well. So great bit of racing there from Deco. Really solid driving. Prime Call not too far behind, but he's got a job on his hands. Like I said, towards the end of the race, Deco does have higher tyre wear. Prime Call did have a pace advantage at the end of the first stint. He could find that he has it again at the end of this stint as well. So it's definitely not over. A little bit further down, Eroticos, Canasta and Jezza starting to spread out a little bit actually. Then Harry and Senor Fak very close together still. Peachy only in 8th, but he hasn't had a spin yet. So we'll be on Peachy spin watch post-championship victory, not really caring about this race, but racing it as a bit of a victory lap kind of vibe that he's probably feeling right now. Everyone's still not too far. And then we've got a huge gap down at spin. Looks like he's been in the wars again. I think he's not actually in control of his car. Anyway, Prime Call is giving Deco a bit of a run for his money. He got nice and close into turn 1. He's still fairly close. Deco looks like he's actually pulling away a little bit down the straight, so potentially got a better exit out of the center S. Like I said, the McLaren isn't too strong around here. Neither is the Supra is really strong, especially on the straight, which is quite long here. But yeah, these aren't the cars that are the best. I think it is the Lambo that is the best around here, and also the Renault's quite similar to the Lambo. So obviously we saw it on the podium as well. RCZ obviously quite good as well. Basically those typical MR cars that you think of, even though the McLaren's an MR car, but it's very different. The McLaren and the Porsche are not like the least MR cars in the way that they behave, and the rest of them are quite similar. Here we go. There's a good run out of the final corner from Prime Call. He is in the slipstream. If he's brave into turn 1, he might be able to have a go. He needs to start reeling him in right about now, but that engine on the Supra is very strong. And look, he's just driving away from him. Absolutely nothing Prime Call could do. If he was in a different car, or if Deco was in a different car, there might have been a change of positions for the lead. So if you think about cars for next season, take note, because that is a lifesaver when you're in a car like that in the Toyota. If you could just drive away from someone despite not having the best exit of a corner. Every car has its advantages. One of the Toyotas is the ability to do that, which is the absolute opposite of the Renault. The problem is with the Renault, you do get really good exits out of corners a lot more often than a car like the Supra, because it's more grippy. But if there's a car right behind you, and if the straight's long enough, there's not much you can do. You have to go ultra defensive, and then you're just losing all that time that you'd gain in the corners because you're defending into the corners instead of just taking them normally. I think that's why Eroticos has started to build a gap here to Kanata. He was defending so much for a long time that he wasn't able to keep up with the top two, and now that Kanata's dropped off him a little bit, he's started to gap them. Still lapping strongly in the 32s as well. I'd say his fastest lap actually on the last one. Ooh, this won't be his fastest lap though. He went a little bit wobbly out of that final corner. What's happening in the Harry Senor Fak battle? It's not much of a battle anymore. Looks like Fak must have had a mistake somewhere. He's dropped right off the back, and now Peachy's starting to reel him in. Ethan has worked his way back up into 9th place. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Ethan and what happened in the pit lane. Maybe he hasn't got to grips with the gearing of the Jag, because I could see he's going all the way up to the limiter before he's shifting up a gear. I think it's like a 75% kind of car. So if he's been doing that all season, he's been missing out on a lot of pace there potentially. And obviously the fuel consumption as well. But yeah, there's loads of gaps forming now, so apart from really the fight for P1, Primecall's really keeping Deco honest here. Actually, let's have a look at Primecall from Deco's point of view. Lifting a lot around, I think that's the Junkow corner. Nice smooth exit there from Deco. But again, let's just see if this is close enough for Primecall to actually start reeling him in. It looks like Deco's already starting to get away from Primecall a little bit here. Yeah, it was the acceleration up the hill that the Supra was so much better at, actually. You could see the traction was working overtime through turn 1 and 2. He was on full throttle, but his car wasn't behaving as if he was on full throttle. Yeah, we're on 23 or 26 now, so we've got basically 3.5 laps to go. It is looking good for Deco. His tyres, especially his front right, isn't looking too healthy. We're at the point basically where the tyres are going to start losing performance. You can see Primecall's got 2 tyres over 50% worn. Deco has, yeah, basically both front, I think, are over 50% as well. It's going to be a good, solid end to the season for these two, Deco and Primecall. Deco had a much stronger season in Tier 3 last season compared to this one. He was in 2nd place, I think, overall. Only just missed out on a promotion to Tier 2. And then this season he's... I don't think he's going to finish in the top 5 or top 6. I think he's potentially 7th in the standings. Some very, very quick drivers did move down to Tier 2, including Primecall, who got a few top 5s as a reserve in Tier 2 last season. Erotico's obviously moved down from Tier 2. Kanata's spent, I think, 3 seasons in Tier 3, but he was a Tier 2 before that. Jez has come up the opposite way from Tier... Well, he was in Tier 7 when it existed. So that's where Jez has started. Harry's been in Tier 2 before. Senor Fac's only ever been in Tier 3. Peachy started out in Tier 2 before moving down. Ethan made his way from the bottom tier up to Tier 2 and then dropped down. Astro was in Tier 1. Anonymous only new this season in Tier 3. Pyro's been all over the show. He's been in Tier 2, he's been in Tier 4. I don't think he's ever been lower than Tier 4, actually. And then Spin started in 4 and moved up to 3. So yeah, it's all a nice jumble of journeys for these guys. Some of these guys are going to move up to Tier 3, that's for sure. For Tier 2, sorry. Peachy would, but he hasn't signed up for next season. He's going to take a little break. There's a few of these other guys are obviously prime for Tier 2. Let's have a look at Primecall. It seems to be closer than he has been in previous laps. Deco's tyres, like I said, are starting to go off, so he's maybe struggling for grip at this point. Yeah, and Deco once again is driving away. He's got a lot to thank that car for if he ends up winning this race, because he's not really being challenged for position the whole way through, despite Primecall having really good ends to his lap. Great turn 1 and 2 for Primecall. All that gap that Deco opened up on the straight got eaten up immediately. Deco's probably going to start pulling away once again a tiny bit here. Two laps to go. And yeah, this battle for the lead has changed hands so many times since the start of the race. We had a few different race leaders. Deco opting for a bit of a tighter line to obviously get a little bit more space into the following corner, which Prime Call didn't have. Prime Call had to take the second part a bit tighter because he was a bit wider into the first one. Having to lift quite a lot around that corner. The goal is to not lift at all when you're on soft tyres. Here we go. This surely is Prime Call's chance. We're heading into the final lap now. He can't be more than 0.2 of a second behind Deco right now as we head into the final lap. Deco going defensive into turn 1. If Prime Call can get a good turn 2 like he did in the previous lap. Deco's wide out of turn 1. His line's compromised. Prime Call is right there. Oh, but Deco gets a much tighter exit. Manages to keep the grip on his car a little bit better than Prime Call there. Oh, a little bit of contact. Now, is that going to allow for Prime Call to get a bit closer? No, he's not. He's a little bit too wide around that corner. Gives Deco a bit of breathing space. There's Eroticos in third place in the distance. Again, these guys are so close. It might end up being a drag race for the finish. If Deco gets a bad exit from the final corner, the opportunity will be right there for Prime Call. Deco's front tyre is nearly completely dead. If we had another lap, I think he'd be caught for sure. But he doesn't. He's timed it to perfection. Final corner now. Looks like a good exit from Deco. Prime Call right behind him. There's not going to be more than a couple of tenths in it at the end at most. It's just not going to be enough for Prime Call. That GR Supra has done absolutely fantastic up that hill all race long. Deco's going to get rewarded with it. Signs off the season with a race win. Well done, Deco. Prime Call a really solid P2 to end his season in the top 3 of the championship. Eroticos a good end in third, double podium for him. Kanata 4th in the end, our championship runner-up. Then we got Harry in 5th, Jezza in 6th in the end, Senor Fag 7th, Peachy, our champion, only 8th, and then we got Ethan 9th, Astro 10th, we can't even see them, Anonyma a little bit further back in 11th, Pyro even further back. Pyro's been in the wars here. 3 laps in a row outside the 1 minute 40s. God, what happened in lap 20, 21 and 22? Whoa, that's a shocker from Pyro. He'll be glad to see the back of the Mazda, and then Spin is already finished because he was a lap down. That's it for your season. Like I said, big congrats to the BMW boys. We've got the Race of Champions on Monday coming up, and apart from that, everyone's going to have a bit of a break whilst we get the next season sorted. If you haven't signed up already, sign up, because the closing date isn't actually that far away, and then we can get everyone sorted into the right tiers for next season and get going again. Hoping to make it even bigger than this one. So thanks for watching, and yeah, join me next season because I'll no doubt be commentating again.